Okay, so there was a lot of problems with the first video, so we're going to try to make some improvements.
What is this, 8th grade?
Dude, shut up! You're not supposed to be in this part yet.
Sorry.
So here's change number 1, and then I'm going to snap and then it's going to chain. Now's the new cut, now's when it's fixed, and now is when the lights are going to come on, so I'm going to talk about the fact that we need lights, and then the lights are going to come on, and then bam!
Time.
What are you swearing all the time? So now the lights are coming on, and cream of the crop, cream of the cake. Whatever cream's on that cake, it's the best in the biz. It's the Quentin Tarantino of creamed cakes. We're gonna get a better camera, and then way better camera quality this time. Okay, so now the last trick in my magic trick book is, not gonna laugh at that, is my little blonde assistant. Maybe has a receding hairline, maybe he looks just like me, who knows? And popping up right here. Bam. Bam, he's here.
Whoa!
I have a big head, he has a receding hairline. Now that we've gotten those jokes
You
out of
ruined
the way.
my big head joke.
Yes, okay. So, another major problem with our last review, which technically wasn't even a review, it was just us saying, like I said, us saying funny lines and saying, go see these movies. Even though we didn't talk about the characters, the story, what was going on, why we would recommend it. I didn't even talk about what movie I was talking about. I used too many pronouns.
It was basically just us saying lines from the movies. We thought we were funny, but we're really not at all.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about the Lego Movie 2, and it's much inferior, practically
Less funny,
less enjoyable, less original, and frankly sexist predecessor. The Lego Movie... Wait, no, this is the third one. We're reviewing the Lego Movie 3D. Crap. Oh, you got the wrong disc, idiot.
It was at the clearance bin at Walmart.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Thanks for playing along. So we're gonna do some more stuff. Short review of the Lego Movie for those that haven't seen it. Short review is go watch it. It's a great movie. I'm just copying what I said about For the Wonder People What We Do in the Shadows. So basically a short thing, you have Chris Pratt, he plays Neo from the movie The Matrix, and you find out that he's in the Matrix, and then he becomes the Chosen One, or as they say, the Chosen One in the Matrix. And then that's the end of the movie. It's really funny, it's got great humor, it's directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller, and also written by them. We're talking not today about this masterpiece. We're talking about the Lego Movie 2, the second part.
Wow.
Directed by Mike Mitchell. From such films as Shrek Forever After, Monsters vs. Aliens,
wow,
and Sky High, with fan favorite Will Stronghold, son of the commander in Jetstream.
No wonder this movie was so miserable.
You're the one that's supposed to be positive. How can we be two bad cops? It's just worse cop and then less worse.
I never said I liked it. One of the things.
So it's police brutality versus Nazism. That's the level of badness we have right here.
Man, our YouTube channel's going to get shut down. It hasn't begun.
Okay, so now I'm going to read out the plot synopsis that I wrote at 12:58 in the morning today.
Dork.
Because I couldn't go to sleep, so I figured I'd just get all my thoughts out. So, in the Lego Movie 2, the sister system, don't know if you caught up on the sister part, takes the boy system's toys, and the mom bad ending is impending doom on all of these analogies. Will most of our characters do anything other than sit around and not really say anything notable, witty, or add any value to the plot? The answer might not shock you in the slightest.
Sorry, I was picking my nose.
Well, we're going to cut to a part where it shows, like, we're going to copy Red Letter Media is what we're doing. So, if you got any hints, cutting that.
If you got, I get a post. Don't worry.
If I'm the one editing the, if you got any hints about what I thought about the movie, is I thought it sucked. I thought it was disappointing. I thought it was borderline offensive, and I rolled my eyes so many times in the film. What about you, Hunter?
So since Grant hates everything, I decided I would take the angle of liking this movie. Not because
just to spite me.
Not because I actually like it, but because I just like to make Grant angry, and yeah, that's pretty much my only reasoning. But seriously,
he's like the splinter that's in my thumb.
I didn't think this movie was as bad as Grant. Grant absolutely hated it.
I just thought
he thought it was miserable. We get it. You didn't think it was funny.
I laughed a few times, but it's almost like all the times that I didn't laugh in the Lego Movie, which was like a handful amount of times, like handful, this amount. That was the amount of times that I laughed during the Lego Movie too.
I mean,
sorry,
mind you,
I have Tourette's.
For all one of you that's watching.
Thanks, Brady.
Mind you, for all one of you that's watching,
thanks, Mom and
my
Dad.
friend is being very critical of a children's movie. A movie made for kids between
that's a suggestion.
ages and
they have to put that there.
The man was making fun of jokes primarily aimed at children and saying that they weren't funny in a movie that again is for children. Me, I'm lighthearted. I can understand that's a joke for a child. I'm not going to sit here and absolutely.
You know what's funny is that we actually just watched the Lego Movie again because I haven't seen it in like over a year. So I was like, maybe nostalgia is hitting me, and maybe like I'm not remembering it in a proper light. So I looked at it in a proper light, and we watched it mostly together. He came and he showed up at my house like halfway through.
I did.
He kept talking about the fact that childish jokes are in this movie that you wouldn't laugh at. He couldn't point to a single one.
I did so.
You pointed to one, even though Reese said it wasn't even a joke, so you can't even.
I don't want to hear it. Him and his brother laughed at.
It was
Lord Business saying Taco Tuesday. They thought it was funny.
First of all,
a 4-year-old would laugh at that. It's just there's a mask.
Why do I feel like this review becomes more and more embarrassing the more we talk about this movie?
Like I said, it's a children's movie. We dug ourselves in a hole with this one.
And it's a comedy.
We're getting through this. I don't care. I came over here to review one movie only, and that was Lego Movie 2.
So here, what are my thoughts on this movie? Okay, biggest problem with the movie is the fact that it frankly ignores most of the growth and development of the Lego Movie Part 1.
Or are you going to finish that sentence, sir?
Period. End of sentence. Like, let's say, for instance, Emmett, he's a main character, man. He's down on his luck. He's Neo in the Matrix. But at the end, he becomes Neo in the Matrix. But in the part where he realizes that he can do all this crazy stuff. And so, therefore, there's a growth of character. He ends up growing. It's like if The Matrix... What's the second one called? The Matrix Reloaded came out.
Oh, I'm not leaving.
Okay. It's like if The Matrix Reloaded came out, and then Agent Smith shows up again and says, "Hey, I lost my memory. Who's the main character?" And they say Neo. He's the chosen one. And then frickin' what's her face? Super cool lady Elizabeth Banks' character shows up and says, "Oh, well, I did most of the fighting."
Miss Hot Topic.
Which is what happens in this movie.
Yeah.
And it's annoying. And they ignore most of the movie.
They disregard that Emmett turned into a fighting...
A master builder.
Yeah.
And it's annoying.
Spoiler alert for Lego Movie Part 2, for those that actually care.
For all the 6-year-olds watching, they're super excited to see what happens to their best friends. The entire movie is an analogy for a brother and sister fighting. A 15-year-old boy who refuses to get his license because he's too busy playing in his dad's basement playing Legos. And then his sister, who's at the suggested age for playing with the toys.
See, that's the novelty of the first one. It's essentially the same. It's essentially the same exact thing.
But you don't realize it until the end.
Yeah, it's the first one basically says, all right, this dad's got to let his son. They can play together. Son can play with the toys, whatever.
He plays with
it's
toys.
Funny because it's a dad.
Will
it's
Ferrell.
A grown man.
It's 40-year-old Will Ferrell.
And then in the second one, it's just a kid, a 16-year-old kid playing with
a kid who refuses to go to college because he's too busy playing with Batman.
You said it before I did. It's while watching the movie, I got secondhand embarrassment for a character that's not even real. I got secondhand embarrassment, and it just, I don't know. It's a movie that doesn't work well. Maybe it worked well in a script when Phil Lord and Chris.
They did not direct this movie, unlike they were directing the first one. Most likely because they were too busy getting fired from directing Solo: A Star Wars Story, which
Sholo: A Sharlo Story.
Sholo: A Star Wars Story. Seashells, she sells by the seashore.
By Disney's Marvel's Star Wars.
Correct. Oh look, I have a Solo. That wasn't even on purpose.
No, that wasn't. Is he have a hat in that? Oh, it's
Indiana Jones. And see, nerd culture has layered references.
Would you get that in a loot box? You get that in one of your geek crates?
You don't have to bring that up. That was 3 years ago. Stop it. Alright. Cutting that. My little blonde assistant maybe has a receding hairline. Maybe he looks just like me. Who knows? And popping up right here. And there he is, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, back for the third time. This is now
what?
This is now Reese.
Yes.
It's no longer a receding hairline. It's now just...
blonde version.
Yeah. It's like inverted. I have brown hair, he has blonde hair, my hair part's this way, his hair part's the other way. We're just as annoying. We're twice as ugly as the other one.
And even less funny.
Thank you. I needed that, honestly. Okay, so we're not going to be talking about the Lego Movie because we could talk here for hours and just...
We could actually just quote the whole thing.
We could have a... That's true. We may or may not be able to quote most of the movie.
Indeed.
We're not going to have a Hunt for the Wilder People situation where we just quote the movie and then not really talk about it or talk about the plot or characters or whatever I said in the portion where Hunter was. By the way, I lost over half of that footage, so literally everything with Hunter is only half of what the conversation was. So I'm going to try to integrate some of what Hunter thought into our discussion so that way he doesn't feel completely left out.
Like in the 1950s. Integration.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I've already kind of said a little bit my piece. What did you think of the Lego Movie 2?
Okay. I'm going to be petty. And I know this is a kid's movie. And I know this is meant to have your 4-year-old shut up for 2 hours. But I'm going to be petty. They don't follow the rules of the universe, okay?
So, no, what do you think of the movie, though?
Okay. Trash. I was just miserable. There's a couple of times, I took off my glasses.
When Reese goes in a movie to see his glasses, he's excited to see it.
I want to look at the movie and I want to see
How do you describe life without glasses?
So, glasses, no glasses, 720p. But when you put the glasses
it's like Spider-Man
on,
1.
1080.
But the opposite. Yeah. So Reese was excited. Yeah. I didn't tell him anything because I've now seen the movie. I've seen this movie twice.
That must have been so depressing having to go through that.
It was kind of hilarious though, because the first time Hunter, not him, and me saw it we had to see it last night, Thursday night, because that was the only time he was available to see it. I was physically miserable through most of it. I was hands in my head. I was just like, oh, this is annoying. This is stupid, and I just why am I subjecting myself to this? I went in with Reese. I made sure not to tell him a single thing about what I thought, and then
there's 4 times where it's just
I just see Reese almost convulsing
when Batman is flossing, and I take my glasses off and I turn to him and I say, I can't decide whether to laugh or shoot myself.
There was one time Reese at the end of the movie. There's a line that upset Reese so much he left the movie. He didn't even see a more cringy part of the movie because he couldn't take it.
They defiled something that is part of my childhood. And something that, even out of my childhood nostalgia glasses, is a great movie.
We just watched it today. Whenever Hunter was watching it, Reese was also watching it with me.
Yeah.
And it still slaps.
Because here's the thing. You watch it, and every time you see new jokes.
Can't believe I just used the word slaps. Yes, it's layered.
So many. It doesn't wait for you. It doesn't slow down for you.
It's like
to show you every
Here's
joke.
how me and Reese on the car ride home, I described it like this. For some reason, my dog is now very interested in what we're looking at right now. She's right next to the camera. You can't see her.
She's very cute.
So Lego Movie 1 is like strip mining. Because you basically strip mining, you take the surface and you keep going deeper and deeper, layer by layer. You find more and more and more and more. Every
Like in
time. You have to go all the way around. This is why we have an expert commentary on Minecraft. And then Lego Movie 2, it's like going to a ghost town that used to be a bright gold mine, but you're going to a ghost town, there's nothing left. You take your, whatever that gold plate? The gold pan. You take it in the river. Most of the time you get dirt and crap, but every once in a while you get a little gold nugget. But then that gold nugget's also covered in dirt and crap, so it kind of like evens out your emotions of getting it. That's how I would describe the comedy of Lego Movie 2.
And here's the thing, it's just for like, it's kids, and it's also for moms that are taking their kids to go watch this thing. So like,
The moms
I can't
get a
be
relief.
that hard on the jokes, but I can still be pretty petty.
It's not meant for us, but at the same time, the Lego Movie is meant for anybody.
Everyone.
Like, we love the Lego Movie, and you know what? I'm fine with, for some reason, I'm okay with putting that on your head.
And if you like Batman Lego Movie more, you don't have eyes or ears.
Or a soul. But no, it's very upsetting, and now we're going to get into a bit more detail with it.
Now I'm big sad. Okay, also one last pettiness.
Yes.
They don't have the water as Lego bricks. And then also...
They don't have the water as Lego bricks, they don't have the fire as Lego bricks, they have way too much, like, non-Lego items. There was that one weird part where they just go to, like, the let's all go to the la, like that part.
Which isn't funny.
During the middle of a scene, during a transition scene, so they cut from the beginning of this transition to cut to that, then go to the end of the transition. So in this part that's meant to lead you from one scene to the other, it cuts that, and it just messed up the pacing.
Yeah.
The one part that was from the Hunter and Me review that was cut is where I talked about the fact that this movie is basically wheel spinning. The characters don't really do anything. Like, you have your A story and your B story, you have your Empire Strikes Back. Some of the characters go off in a spaceship, one of the characters goes off and does his own thing in a different spaceship. So you have Chris Pratt, and then you have all your Han Solo, your Leia side story. The Elizabeth Banks Wild Style side story, it doesn't really go anywhere. We're cutting this.
Who are you?
I'm your worst nightmare.
You're me when I'm late to school and I forgot my homework and my pants are made of pudding?
No, I don't.
So we just cut, we came back, and now we're here to talk about the movie some more. What part were we talking about then? I know we just watched the entirety of our last footage to find out where we left off.
Let's all go to the lobby.
Oh no, we were talking about Elizabeth Banks' character.
Yes.
So basically, with your A story, B story, Chris Pratt's the A story, kind of, even though he doesn't really do anything with Chris Pratt. And then you have Wild Style, who goes off with edgy young girl.
Girls can do things too.
Girls can do things too. She was the real hero, even though Emmett had the emotional character growth. She had emotional character growth in the first movie too, but yeah. She's the girl that did the things with the cis beta male taking all the credit.
Yeah.
But, that was so freaking annoying.
Every time that, like, the sisters' characters
They tried to be woke by completely just misremembering all of what happened in Lego
Did
Movie
they even
1.
see the first one? I mean, like, come on.
Did Phil Lord and Chris Miller ever even see the first one that they wrote whenever they were writing the second one?
But, like,
anyways, so whenever... I'm going to talk now. This is my review. It says Reese. Does it say Reese Phillips Reviews?
Oh.
That's what I thought, idiot. I look like a douche right now. Okay. Because I am. Okay.
You should see him when he's not on camera.
Okay, so basically with Elizabeth Banks and with her character, all she did...
Okay, stop. Just say who Elizabeth Banks is for all those people at home, including myself.
Wild Style.
Okay.
Is she a DJ? Who knows? They dropped that joke from the first one.
Good.
So Wild Style, Lucy, most of the characters, she has 5 characters to go with her. Nick Offerman is Metalbeard. Charlie Day is Benny, the 80-something space guy. You have Something Rose as Unikitty. And then you have Batman. Will Arnett as Batman. Basically, none of those characters, you don't have to remember them. They're there for small lines and no growth or progression or interesting facts. There's no moment where...
No memorable lines.
No memorable lines, no memorable comedy lines. Me and Reese can just say a random line that any character said, and we'll immediately know where it's from, and we'll laugh from it because everything's memorable.
And the bodily organs.
Brrr.
Okay, this is not your last review.
Yes. So anyways, basically what I'm saying is that most of those characters don't do anything, and what Reese really wants to talk about is the mixing up of analogies and how none of these characters work in the analogy of a brother and sister fighting, because there's so many characters that are separated, but yet they somehow still apply to the main character, the main boy, the 15-year-old sophomore who's still playing with Legos. They still apply with his emotions, even though they're not hanging out with him. And it just
still playing Legos at 15. Come on, Grant.
Reese.
Stop being passive aggressive against me.
Okay, now time for you to talk.
Okay. So in the Lego Movie, you have two parts. You have the comedy stuff, and then you have like the heart to it. And the comedy stuff in this, we've already talked about. It's not good. It's not meant for us. It's meant for children and moms. But then the heart in this...
It's not made for smart children. It's made for ADD kids.
Yes. Okay, that's a little mean. Just a little bit. And then the heart in this is just all confused. So they have like 3 different themes of not fighting with your sister, not changing like to what people want you to be, and then not losing like your childlikeness over time. But like none of them really work, and they're all super like ham-fisted.
One of the things that this movie really struck down upon that me and Hunter touched upon that I'm fairly certain was cut is the fact that with Lego Movie 1, you can still watch that movie and still enjoy it just in the fact whenever Emmett is hanging out in the Wild Wild West in Lego Movie 1, I'm not thinking, oh, the kid is controlling him being there. I'm like, no, this is a movie, this is the story, this is what's happening. I'm still invested in the story even after seeing it more than once. But with this movie, from the first frame, they immediately establish, okay, none of the Lego stuff is real.
Yeah.
It's all just an analogy for a kid and his dad, and then it turns from a kid to his dad to a kid and his sister.
Like in the Lego Movie, it's like it can function completely without the working in the real world.
Yes. They constantly reference back to the fact to where it's almost like they expect the audience, to be too stupid to remember that this isn't really happening.
Yeah.
This isn't a live action Lego movie, guys. I know it's shocking to think that these Legos aren't alive, but it's all a reference, and it's all what does Owen Thundergun say? This is all happening in the subconscious emotions of a conflicted kid.
Yeah.
Which
that was kind of funny.
I enjoy that moment. But those moments like that are few and far between, and I really feel like if Phil Lord and Chris Miller directed this movie, there'd be way less dancing, way less songs, and way more ad-libbing. Frankly, it's like the opposite of... Never mind.
Another thing that... another point is that in the first Lego movie, you have it where... just an example is... The whole heart of it is that the son should be able to play with his dad's Legos. That's like the moral, kind of. But what's behind that is everyone's special and everyone has good ideas. And just because it's not the way that you think it should be played doesn't mean it's wrong. But in this, it just has let your kid play with your Legos. It doesn't have the heart behind it where everyone's special.
Frankly, the idea that everyone should be able to play with the Legos no matter what they decide to do with them, that is pushed so much into the forefront of this movie that it basically copies the Lego Movie 1.
Yeah. But
not in an interesting way, and it's not at all graceful. It's just shoved in your face, but in such a light way that it's not offensive to you. This is an inoffensively bad movie that wasn't meant for us, but at the same time, it's not proceeding. It's coming after the Lego Movie, which is, if you're intelligent, you'll enjoy it. It's meant for, I believe anybody can enjoy the Lego Movie. Yeah. It doesn't have to be an ADD kid. There's so much interesting... I'm not pointing out ADD kids, it's just attention. Like, this movie tries to grab attention with fun songs.
Yeah.
And, there's one song in the Lego Movie. Time to get into that. Oh my gosh, okay. All of the songs kind of suck. I get the fact that, this girl, she listened to pop songs, and that's why they have songs.
They could have had, a good, K-pop joke, or, also there's a song where it's this will get stuck in your head and is super catchy. But what they could have done is played Everything Is Awesome, and that would have been hilarious because everyone complains about how that was stuck in my head.
And frankly,
for
that would have been shown as growth for the character. That would have shown as like an obstacle for Wildstyle emotionally, because like she's like the entire time, like they make one reference to it, but the fact that she's super against that song, Everything Is Awesome. Like Emmett plays in the beginning, she's like, "Oh, I hate that song," and then like if they played that, that would have shown the fact that like she's dealing with like character stuff.
Yeah,
that would have given even the semblance of a character arc in this movie.
See, the problem is that the analogies don't work and they don't make sense because they try and go super in depth with them and try and go so far with them, but they conflict. The different themes conflict with the different analogies, and it just gets super muddled.
So now we're going to get in the spoiler section. What did you think when Owen Thunderguns gave us the realization that Chris Pratt, who is voicing two characters, is actually voicing the same character, that that he's from the future, that the future is also happening now?
Okay.
And that
you have two plot twists. The first one is that the sisters and like her whole army is not bad.
They're not bad
actually
guys.
Good. They just happen to be brainwashing everyone.
They're not brainwashing them. They just legitimately have a really fun, like laid back way of life.
Yeah.
And then, all the main characters that are taking the perspective of the kid, the young boy. Well, I shouldn't say young boy. He's practically voting age. The fact that they're taking from his perspective, that's why Wildstyle is shocked whenever Metalbeard turns and Batman turns and whatnot. Yeah. But that actually wasn't good. The one aspect of the movie I do enjoy is the fact that the younger sisters, like, I tried to speak your language, meaning I wanted to be tough like you, so that's why I tried to communicate with you like that. Yeah. But then you ended up hating me for it. So
that was an interesting.
That was
concept.
Cool. I enjoyed that.
But then that was also a part when I took my glasses off because she said you started it, and then I realized the analogy. And it just no.
Yeah, no.
And then the other plot twist is Chris Pratt plays Johnny Thunderthighs from the future. And then he was abandoned and he became tough. And then Back to the Future reference, huh?
That's hilarious. That's a reference that we all know.
We all know that pop culture thing. That's hilarious.
Oh my gosh, that's that thing that I remembered.
There's a lot of jokes where I was like, ha.
That was just my reaction.
Not funny.
It's not funny.
Yep.
What about when my...
say more. It's not funny.
Ugh. Goodness. Okay, but basically he's from the future, and he's trying to create Momageddon because he wants everybody to be miserable.
Including myself in the theater.
This was a giant joke. This movie was a joke.
Johnny Dangerfield got his mission accomplished.
Phil Lord and Chris Miller, you pranked us, you sons of guns.
Johnny Thunderthighs got his mission accomplished.
Oh my god, Johnny Thunderthighs. Owen Thunderguns.
I was close.
But no, and then he ends up being the bad guy, and then...
He becomes good.
He becomes good. Also, there's way too many references that he makes. He makes a reference to the movie The Matrix, which I thought was okay, but at the same time, is that just a reference that the writers are making? Is that a reference that the kid is making, like saying to his younger, more innocent self? Yeah. Like, does this kid have bipolar disorder, where he has, like, his older, grungy side, and then his younger Chris Pratt side?
So, basically, the thing is that all of the good guy characters that we think are good from the get-go are supposed to represent the kid.
The young boy.
The young boy.
I shouldn't... Okay, middle...
And so, apparently, the teenage boy has changed from being like Emmett, super happy, everything's awesome, to now it's
living
super
in Bricksburg, and now he lives in Apocalypseburg.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious.
But the thing is, Emmett hasn't changed, which doesn't make any sense, because, like, Emmett's kind of the main character that represents him.
Frankly, he should have represented the fact that... Well, I think you're wrong on this, because... all the characters, the amalgamation of them represent him. So Emmett is like the pure central middle ground. And that's why when Lucy, Wildstyle, Elizabeth Banks says, hey, you need to be more tough, he's like kind of hurt by that. Which is because he kind of wants to change, but at the same time he wants to keep it. but he's also insecure about it. The camera was being real stupid,
Alright,
so
so-
we had to recut. So now, Reese,
Ready?
give your recommendations.
So this movie is meant for kids and moms, and the kids are going to like the jokes. They're going
Maya
to,
Rudolph was pretty good.
and I heard moms laughing, and
There was
there's
like a
nothing
total
wrong
of
with
2
it.
moms, so
There's nothing wrong with
mom laughing.
enjoying the movie.
Yeah.
If you like the jokes, you like the jokes, and hey, it's a good movie for you. But
I feel like if you're the type of person to like nonchalantly kind of say, "Yeah, that was a pretty cute movie," at the end, you're probably not watching this review though.
the thing was, just for us, is that the Lego Movie is so layered with so many jokes, and it doesn't slow down for you, that you're able to find new jokes and really examine the movie and just have a great time.
Oh, it's so great.
But in this one, for like us, not like none of the jokes landed, and it just made us miserable.
Yeah. I wish, honestly... No, never mind. Okay, so Hunter's recommendation was pretty much Reese's. Like, if you know a 4-year-old, like, it's good for 4-year-olds, it's not good. If I was to recommend this one, I wouldn't recommend it the same way that he would recommend the Lego Movie 1, because he would recommend that to, frankly, anybody, because it's a great movie. His words. He says it's the best Phil Lord and Chris Miller movie that he's ever seen.
That's not.
Yes, it is. And there's no proof that he can prove
Hey.
that ever didn't happen.
Thanks to the power of editing.
Yes.
No one knows.
No one knows the truth. So, and my recommendation is that if you know a 4-year-old kid that likes the Minions movies, or like Secret Life of Pets, or like that one movie, I think it's called Smallfoot. Like-
Trolls.
This guy also directed Trolls.
Yes.
So if your kid likes Trolls, they're probably gonna like this
And
movie.
he plays with
But if you wanna-
Legos. Or she, hey,
He or she, it. So if it likes to play with Legos, it liked Trolls, and, then take it to see the movie. But, if you're looking to get the same emotional reaction, not emotional, if you're looking to get the same fun reaction that we got out of Lego Movie 1,
the Lego Movie.
the Lego Movie, definitively, there's
Yes.
no other Lego movies other than that one, then
Just like Lion King 1.5. There's no
don't-
other Lion Kings.
don't bother watching. Just put in Lego Movie again. Enjoy yourself.
Just
put on the
imagine.
commentary track. Have some fun.
And call that the Lego Movie too.
Yes. So yeah,
Your recommendation? Did you?
that was my
Okay.
recommendation. It was the
Okay.
Minions reference.
Very cool. Grant movie.
So thanks again. I hope this was a bit more clear. I hope we talked more than just saying, "Hey, it's a good movie." End of review.
Now for us to quote the movie.
Oh my gosh, no,
He's
we're not
coming.
cover your butt.
Cover
the what?